Today we'll be looking at multiplying larger numbers, which is 1.6 in our textbook. When we're talking about multiplication, we're actually talking about finding the product of two numbers. Now the word product is used to represent the answer to a multiplication problem. So when you see the word product, it means you need to multiply numbers together. And when we're multiplying by 10 or 100, 1,000 or 10,000, and when we keep going, each digit moves to the left by the number of zeros. So for example, here down the bottom, you can see that 6 times 10 is actually adding a 0 on the end because we've multiplied by 10. Every time we multiply 6 times 1, anything by 1 equals itself, and then we can just add the 0 on the end. So pretty much you're just adding the number of zeros if it's a multiple of, if it's a 10 or 100, 1,000, numbers like that. Okay, so the second example is 37 times 100. So pretty much we're just adding the two zeros on the end because we're multiplying 37 by 1 and then adding the two zeros to the end. There's no need to do that multiplication and show all your working and everything like that. You can just do that in your head. Now, a strategy for multiplying by multiples of 10 and 100 is to multiply by the number without the zeros, so the first digit in the number, or it might be more than the first digit, then add the zeros to the answer. Okay, so a little bit like I showed you on the previous page, except if instead of using 10 and 100 and 1,000, we might use 30 and 300 and 3,000. So I'll give you some examples to show you what I mean. So when we were looking at 21 times 3,000, we need to multiply by the first digit, so 21 times 3, and then we multiply by 1,000, and we know how to do that from the previous page. We just add the 3 zeros on the end. So we've multiplied 21 by 3, which is 63, and then 63 times 1,000 is 63,000 with the 3 zeros because there are 3 zeros in 1,000. Now this next example is 3 times 500. So we just go 3 times 5 is 15. Then we're adding 2 zeros to the end because we're just multiplying then by 100. Okay. Another way of multiplying is using an algorithm. So this is if you've got numbers that aren't multiples of 10. So we can multiply this way. Now there's a few steps here. So you first of all obviously need to arrange the numbers vertically so that the large number is on top and the smaller number is on the bottom, and the digits with the similar place value are underneath each other. Then you multiply by the far right digit in the smaller number by each digit, starting from the right-hand side. Remembering to carry and add any digits higher than 9 to the next column. And this second line, because we're multiplying by a 2-digit number, whenever you move to the next column, you always have to add the 0, because we're actually really multiplying by 10 here when we're using this 1. When we're multiplying by the 1, it's actually a 10, so we need to put a 0 here to represent that. Okay, and then we add the totals together to get the answer. So I'll give you an example by doing this for you. 4 4s are 16. 4 1s are 4, making sure we add the 5. Add that, that's 5. 6 4s are 24. Then making sure we're putting the 0 here, because we're really multiplying by 10. 1 4 is 4, 1 1's a 1, and 1 6 is 6. That's pretty easy. Then we add them up. So 6, 9, 5, and 8. So the answer is 8,596. All right, now you're going to show me that you know what to do. I want you to find the product for these multiplication problems. Now remember, product means multiply. So using what you've been taught in this video. So I want you to pause the video and do this now. Okay, these ones are the easiest ones. So we're at 671 times 100. Remember what I said? So it's 671, and because we're multiplying by the 1, it's just 671. And we're adding the number of zeros here, which is 2. So it'll be 67,100 is the answer you should have got. Okay, the next one, 56 times 10,000. So 56 times 1 is 56, and then we're adding the number of zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 560,000. I like to put the commas in because that just tells me where the place values are. Okay, try these ones. Pause the video and do this as well. Okay, so we do the same sort of thing we did in the previous page, but now we've got a 4 to multiply by instead of the 1. Okay, so we need to do 36 times 4 times 10. Okay, so 36 times 4 is 144. And 144 times 10, we'll just add the 0 on the end. So it's 1,440. All right, the next one. So we have to do 317 times by 2 and then times by 100. So we need to work out what 2 times 317 is. That's 634. And we times it by 100, which means we're just adding 2 zeros in the end. So that's 63,400. I hope you got those answers correct. If you didn't, I want you to know why you got them incorrect. Okay, now have a go at this one. Pause the video and do this. I've given you an easier one because you're just multiplying by 1 each time, but I want to make sure that you do something with this one. So 1 times 6, 6. 1 times 9 is 9. 1 times 3 is 3. Then we're making sure they put the 0. Did you put the 0 in? And we 6, 9, 3. All right, and then we need to add it up. Did you get 4,356? I hope you did. Now, this last one, I want you to bring this answer to class with you. I need you to identify the 3 errors that the student has made while solving this problem. So what I would suggest you do is don't worry about the working that I've done here. Just work out the problem yourself, so 271 times 13, and I want you to write down 3 things they've done wrong here. It's best to work it out yourself, and then you can compare your answer to the answer on the screen and see what the difference is. And I look forward to seeing your answers in class.